Welcome to Junkyard and the Rabbit. Tonight we're going to school. That's right, we're going to school. Hi everybody, welcome to Junkyard and the Rabbit. Tonight we're going to have a show about school. School, what does that make you feel? Do you get one of those creepy feelings running up your spine? Do you get one of those, oh no, the big kids are going to messing with me again? What was school like for you? I'll tell you, school for me was I love school. We won't go on and on about this, but I mostly love school because I like to learn things. I hope you guys learned something tonight. We're going to have a lot of good films. Junkyard always has the best films. So be sure and watch us tonight. We got David Regnier, Mark Smeltzer with some music. It's going to be a good show. Stick around. Junkyard and the Rabbit. Woohoo! See you.
Have you ever thought about the times when everybody in your family was having a good time and everybody was happy? It's when each member of the family helps and does his share. Isn't that right? But there are some things even the whole family can't do by itself. A family can't build a highway or even repair a street. And a family couldn't build its own school, could it? That's why many families live together in a community. A community is a group of people living near each other, helping each other do things they couldn't do by themselves. What each person does is called his job. Do you know what it means to say that your job is going to school? And can you understand that by doing a good job in school, you are helping yourself, your family, and your community? These are not easy questions, but let's see if we can find the answers. Let's learn how going to school is your job.
Did you ever wonder why, when you've spent all of your time since kindergarten going to one type of school, that at a certain point in your education you are switched to a different type of school? Why don't they just add more rooms to the elementary school you're familiar with? Of course, this method of providing higher education might have its limits.
Let's make some things from clay. See how nice and soft it is? You can squeeze it into any shape. See how you can squeeze it out? When it becomes too long, you can squeeze it together again. Before you start to make things from clay, it is best to squeeze it for a little while. This makes it easier to use in making the things you want. Suppose we make a bird. press the clay down on the table so our bird will stand nice and straight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
Yes, we were learning the words, but it was hard.
But the change from elementary school involves more than simply spending your time in a different building. There's a different name for the school. There are different courses, different teaching methods, and different schedules for the day's activities. Why is just about everything in junior high so different? Why? The answer lies in you. You are different. No longer a child, not yet a grown-up. You are changing, leaving childhood, entering adulthood. The part of your life during the junior high years is a period of great change. Your type of schooling must change too, to keep up with you. You will notice that your classmates change in different ways and at different rates. For example, let's look at Bill.
So Jimmy's become a high school dropout. Big deal, right? Well, he certainly isn't alone. More than 500,000 other young people will quit school this year. But just who are these dropouts? And do you know why they're quitting?
Hey, I know who they are. I mean, most of the kids that drop out are poor minority kids, huh?
Well, yeah, it's true that 90% of the dropouts come from low-income families. And it's also true that the dropout rate is highest amongst blacks, Chicanos, and other minorities. But don't be fooled. Dropouts come from suburban and rural areas, as well as in the inner city. And overall, 4 out of 5 dropouts are white. Fortunately, however, the overwhelming majority of young people will stay in school, stick it out, and graduate. School actually becomes an important part of their lives. It's an awakening.
Jim earns his reputation as the class pest. But he knows, as you know if you're a Jim, how awful it is to be practically no bigger than you were almost 2 years ago, still a kid, compared to Bill.
I hope you got something good to eat tonight. Hi, Mom. The coach really gave us a workout. And, oh, boy, ham! I'm so hungry I could eat a meal till I see what he gave us to do.
Chuck,
Huh?
could you serve yourself in a less athletic manner?
Oh. Is this better?
Jack, at least you could manage to be on time. After your mother goes to all the trouble to prepare a fine meal, it's only common courtesy, Chuck.
I know, but I couldn't help it. I was late home from school.
Never mind. He did wash up and brush his hair. By the way, Chuck, I saw Barbara's mother downtown. That's quite a supper party she's planning.
Is it this Friday?
I'm not going.
Why not?
Do I have to have a reason?
But all your friends will be there.
I'm not going.
Chuck, don't talk with your mouth full.
Sometimes it can be embarrassing to find that you are not conforming or doing things in the same way as the others. As a student in junior high, you will probably find that even though you want to be just like everybody else, you also are trying to be more independent.
Richard, you have a dental appointment today after school.
Oh, Mom, I've got ball practice today. How come you always make appointments for me without even asking me? Everybody else can decide what he wants to do and when. But me, don't forget it.
I'm sorry.
Good night, Chuck.
Good night. Have a good time.
Thank you, Chuck.
Night,
Good night.
Dad. Oh, who wants to go to a supper party?
You do, Chuck.
Huh? Who are you?
We're looking into the future, Chuck. I am the young man you are going to be in a few short years.
Well, if you say so.
And take it from me, when we're my age, we won't be turning down invitations.
Maybe not.
Tell me, why aren't you going?
I don't know.
I do. You're worried about not doing the right thing. Your table manners.
Now you're talking like Mom and Dad.
Look, you may not care much about table manners now, but when you grow up to be me, then you'll care.
But why? Why does it matter?
For several reasons. Look, maybe I can show you. Let's imagine the family at dinner with nobody minding his manners. Not very pretty, is it? Each person busy feeding his face, showing no consideration for the others. People become irritated, angry. No one can enjoy a meal like this.
I'm getting sick and tired of your attitude. You don't even bring a pencil and a piece of paper to class. You knew we were having a test today.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't passed one of your tests this year anyway, so why should this one be any different?
You don't even care, do you? Now, you're as smart as anyone else in this classroom. There's no excuse. If you were to come to class sometime instead of going wherever you go, you might pass the test.
Mealtime is a time for pleasure and relaxation. It's the best opportunity the family has to talk together, exchange bits of news, make plans. When everybody eats properly, the meal goes better, and everybody has more fun. What's more, when we relax and enjoy ourselves, we digest our food better. And ask your doctor if that isn't important to your health. But there's more.
What's that?
How long now before you'll be going out to make your own way in the world?
Not very long, I guess.
And whatever you do, wherever you go, you'll want to put your best foot forward. Here, let's try another trick.
Bob,
What? What do you want from me?
are you quitting?
Yeah, you know, this thing didn't just come up. It's been building for a long time.
Don't you think you're making a big mistake?
Look, don't worry about me. I'll do just fine. My dad and even my uncle, they never finished school, and they did okay.
So the excuse that your folks did just fine without a high school diploma, well, that just doesn't make it today. But the truth is, over half the students who drop out have average IQs or better. If you're not happy with your schedule, see your counselor. Find out your options. I think you're going to be surprised.
And also remember, you're here not to see how much or how fast you can eat, but to have a good time. Well, our boy is doing all right. Don't you think so? Don't you think you can do the same?
I believe Junkyard had O.J. Simpson in that. I don't know if Junkyard knows that O.J. Simpson maybe isn't the best person to be taking advice from these days. Well, you know, he was just an actor. I'm sure he was just acting in that. And I hope that it was a worthwhile experience for you as it must have been for Junkyard for him to have included it here tonight. We also have Mark Smeltzer on banjo. Don't take any advice from him either, but that's a whole nother story. All right, this next piece is kind of about those that decide to drop out of school. What kind of person would drop out of school? You would have to be a jerk to drop out of school. See if you can see what I'm talking about, Junkyard. Huh? Huh? I'll put one on him now.
Central High graduates 47. Central High. Your school, Steve Martin. Remember? Of course you remember. 3 years isn't long enough to forget. Even the 3 years you've spent riding the freights, bumming around from one dead-end job to the next. You do remember. The names may escape you, but you recall some of the faces. Your classmates, Steve. The class you began with as a freshman. The class you should have finished with as a graduate. Of course, 3 years have brought about changes in you and in your class.
Next, the boys and girls find out what a big job the engineer and custodians have to do. More important than the rooms and desks are the people who work at making the school a good place to learn. Mr. Baldoff tells the students that he comes to school very early, while it's still dark, while they're still sound asleep. He has to make sure all the rooms are warm and comfortable by the time they get to school. Can you think of some of the things the custodians do to help your school?
I guess you've seen that sign enough times, haven't you? Any bar or club that sells liquor by the drink, or any retail store dealing in spirits or bottled alcoholic beverages is sure to have it in a prominent place. Bud and Jack went in to buy a case of beer for a picnic. And right now, they think it's pretty unfair that they can't walk into a store like anyone else and buy liquor just because they're underage. Oh, that's me, incidentally, Tom Ullman. I'm a sports reporter on the city paper. The boys want me to take their money and buy their drinks for them. No deal. Maybe it'd be a good idea if I told them a little something about why that sign is in the window and why they should be glad it is there. For anybody who fools around with this, adult or minor, is playing with dynamite. I decided to tell these boys about Paul, Jim, and Tip. I guess you could say Paul started it all, but it wasn't all his fault, actually. You see, he was just too good a musician for his age. He played in dance bands with older fellas, and they taught him things he'd be better off not knowing. Jim had the richest father in town, and Tip, Well, Tip was captain of the basketball team, all-state the year before. They saw something funny in the way their friend Paul was acting as soon as he joined them. According to Paul, it's no fun drinking alone. He wants company. The other boys have never tasted liquor before, so they have to be dared into it. That first drink isn't very enjoyable, I can tell you. It burns your insides and it makes your eyes water. Tip refused the drink. He said he was in training and basketball meant too much to him. But that isn't good enough for his friends. He has to be a sport. You'd be surprised at how little it takes to get you tight that first time. That's true with adults, but at high school age, even though your mind seems mature, your body isn't, and alcohol is a violent narcotic.
Here he comes. Where are we heading? Tell you when we pick up Jamie. What's that guy waiting for? Give him a bump. Yeah. Hit him again.
Oh, cut it out. We'll get in a jam.
What's the matter? You chicken or something? Come on, move it!
What do you punks think you're doing anyway?
What was that you called us?
Well, I just bought that car. Now look.
You can see from the drawings that they have learned many things in one day. How many people help to keep the school going. Do you think that what they have learned will help them do their job at school better?
Well, that first night was the start. Paul, Jim, and Tip took to drinking together. Jim's father gave him plenty of money, and Jim kept them in liquor. Fortunately, a patrol car spotted Jim going through a stop sign, and he is picked up on suspicion of drunk driving. Jim's father was summoned to the station, and because this was Jim's first offense, was successful in having Jim released, following a severe warning.
Don't you have any work, Jamie?
I told you no. Going out as soon as the guys come by to get me. What time is it?
It's already after 8. I don't know why you for one evening. Your father'll be home in a little bit. Should be home now. Jamie?
If I knew, I'd tell you. I don't know.
Boys, I'll write your orders with my new pencil. Hey, those are great. My dad's got one just like it. Where'd you get it? We just swarmed all over a guy. Fell out of his pocket. What? When did this happen? Just before we picked you up.
We bumped some guy in a big Buick and he gets out and starts getting smart.
Yes, starts calling us names.
Boy, did we give it to him. We sure messed him up. You should have been there, Jamie.
Who was he?
I don't know, some big bald-headed guy.
What kind of a card you say it was?
Oh, it was, What's the matter with you?
I I asked you what kind of a car it was. I want to know.
It was a yellow Buick.
Why?
What do you want to know for, Jamie?
What's his trouble?
I don't know, but this isn't the place to find out. We'll see him in the morning at school when we give this to him.
Oh my, what will Jamie do, you guys? I don't know. Maybe he'll join the gang. Maybe he's gonna stay out of the gang. Maybe he's gonna find some other kind of thing to affiliate with. You know, affiliation is a very strong motivator. I don't know what Jamie's gonna do though. This week's cartoon is called The Mouse and the Lion. Now, I haven't seen The Mouse and the Lion. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And I have no idea how it could possibly have anything to do with school. But Junkyard always has a theme to what he's trying to tell me. So I bet you this has something to do with school. I don't know. Let's find out.
Here's where you learn your sums and the golden rule. How to treat your fellow men, play the game by rules. So get up your sleepy head, it's time to go to school. We're on our way to school to learn our ABC. Traveling on our bicycles in the summer breeze.
Good morning, pupils.
Good morning, teacher.
And now we will sing. Ja?
Do a good deed every day. Do your best in every way. If a bad boy pulls your hair, just sock him in the jaw. All the girls are very dumb, and their skulls are very numb. We have nothing more to say. How good deeds done today.
Mary Jones will now sing.
I know stories by blackbirds. She knows stories about blackbirds. 20 blackbirds baked in a pie with a hey, nutty, nutty, and a hi, hi, hi. When the pie was opened, the birds began to sing. Pussins, I had dainty dish to set before the king.
Clear. Our good deed story for today is The Lion and the Mouse. Once upon a time, there was a great big lion.
You said it, brother, you said it.
And although there was a mouse.
Just a happy little mouse, everybody's friend. Little does he realize there's danger round the bend. Here we see the great big lion sleeping all the day, waiting for a nice make you king of beasts, and I will treat you right.
You'll treat me right, ha 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 ha.
That's what the lion said, and then he let that mouse go, and laughter shook his head.
Tell us the rest of the story, make it sweet and hard. For tell me till the must go on with the song.
Many years later, it happened in the wall. The lion was full of terror when he heard the hunter's call.
Can John feel when it's far away, when it comes and it's horn in the morning?
And that was the story of the lion and the mousey.
Do your good deed every day, do your best in every way. Do just like the lion and mouse, you'll find that it will pay.
In the meantime, Tip's playing went from bad to worse. And then came a day that Tip would like to forget, but one he'll remember all his life. He was kicked off the basketball team. But his two good friends were there to console him, and they were sure a drink would make him feel better. Well, the alcohol story usually runs to a pattern. The boys were drinking more and more, depending on liquor to get them through the day. Even dates were no fun anymore without a bottle. Naturally, what the waiter is doing is reminding them that he has a sign in his front window, too. We do not serve liquor to minors. But Jim had thought of that. Jim's date, Judy, had never tasted liquor before, but like dope addicts, one drinker can't stand the sight of somebody not drinking. And soon, Judy catches the spirit of the thing. The waiter has a right to be sore. They'll give the club a bad name, he says, and he boots them all out. He wants to keep his license. The boys can't understand Judy. Only 2 drinks and look at her. But it's really very simple. Tolerance for alcohol varies from person to person. Judy is one of those on whom it acts like a deadly poison. And on someone who has never used it before, the effect is a lot more violent. Jim himself is in no shape to drive. Right now, he wishes he'd taken just one less drink.
The next time you're riding in an automobile or a bus, think about what would happen if drivers went too fast, or drove on the wrong side of the street, or drove anywhere they pleased. What would happen if everybody ran back and forth in the halls any way they pleased? There would be accidents, wouldn't there? Traffic signs remind drivers of the rules they must follow. Stop.
Jamie,
How's Dad?
how did you know?
I heard it over the radio. How is he?
He'll be all right. He's resting now. He was terribly shaken up and bruised, though. Oh, it makes me sick to think about it.
Jamie.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry.
There's nothing for you to be sorry about, son. It wasn't your fault. I'm all right now. You'd better get upstairs to bed.
I'm sorry, Dad.
All right, this week we have the old Dooley Jukes back as David Regnier and Mark Smeltzer singing their song Whiskey. Always heralds the drinking. Oh, there's so much to learn about. You know, there's not very many songs about drinking and how good it is. There's more songs about drinking and how bad it is. What can you learn from that, boys and girls? All right, everybody. Our last segment tonight is going to be some footage from KU Band Day. One of our favorite things here in Lawrence, Kansas. All the bands walking down the street. It's a lot of fun. None of them play this kind of instrument, though. I never understood why marching bands don't have an electric guitar and somebody walking behind them with the amp. I think that'd be natural. Maybe the chords would trip people. I don't know.
They began arriving shortly after dawn, from the small schools and the large ones. They came from Salina, Wichita, Kansas City, and from Sabetha, Derby, and Highland. The big and little towns, 80 bands. It's good to get out of the bus, stretch the muscles, and to get busy. To unload the instruments, put them together, and to get them ready to play. Get the clothes in order, too. It's time to move to the assembly area for the parade. Thousands of people will see these youngsters march and hear their music before the day is dark and the buses head for home.
By the time you receive your bachelor's degree, you will have spent more than a fifth of your life in the college or university of your choice. No wonder when you're still in high school, it looms ahead as a long period of new experiences.
For the first time on the screen, the probing eyes of hidden cameras expose the shocking extremes of man's insatiable hungers.
The general aim being to help the student find the area in which he or she will experience success.
Well, I was interested in math in high school, but...
Some will be advised to start right out, taking preparatory courses in their chosen field. They will also enroll in courses aimed at broadening their cultural knowledge and personal development. Often because exposure to a broad range of possibilities awakens them to new interests and new self-discoveries.
Coming into a speech class...
The majority of entering freshmen come with no definite major in mind. Gail was from a very small high school. In this larger institution, she was convinced she would be lost in the shuffle. Her first discovery was that the students were not a crowd, all going in the same direction. In her residence hall, she was a member of a small group of girls with their own resident assistant. This group soon became her dormitory family.
Prison as a place of punishment.
Caged heat. Enter the female jungle of women's prison, USA. A seething hell of steel and stone where bodies behind bars ache with hunger for a man. Any man. Where daughters of crime are driven to violence by white-hot desire.
You're in a house of desperate women here. And a long, long way from home.
Breaking out of here.
Caged heat. Ripped by prison pigs. Torn by penal passion.
Warden! You can't do this to me.
Caged longings, caged desires, caged heat. In color, rated R.
Which institution you choose is largely a matter of personal preference. There is no one and only right school until you have made a choice. Then, inevitably, your school becomes the only one worth shouting about.
Better take this back, Jamie.
We didn't know it was your dad, Jamie.
We wouldn't have done it if we'd known.
Leave me alone.
Take it, Jamie.
You keep it. I don't want anything more to do with it.
Now look, Jamie, don't get smart. Don't forget, you could have been along instead of one of us. Could have been one of our dads. Wouldn't see me moping around if it had been my old man.
Don't worry. I'm not forgetting a thing. Just count me out from now on.
There he is.
Jamie, we want to talk to you.
He's busy.
Have you seen the paper this morning, Jamie?
Have you read about the special session of the city council they're having this morning?
And all the things they're talking about doing. A curfew, upping the age of driver's licenses, canceling the football games, the parties, the dances, and everything else.
And it isn't fair, Jamie. Most of the high school students haven't had anything to do with the things that have been happening. Like last night, and the statue that was broken, and the theater seats, and all that. But we're all going to suffer for it.
I didn't have anything to do with it either.
And don't look at us.
We didn't kick over any statues.
You've got to help us, Jamie.
Well, what do you expect me to do?
We're going over to the city council meeting right now and see if they won't listen to our side before they do anything about it. Mr. McPherson said we could go. He excused us from school.
And he said you could go with us.
Look, all of you, leave me out of everything you're planning. All I want to do is mind my own business.
But this is your business, Jamie.
You heard him. He's not going anywhere. He's no sap. We're going to the city council.
Go ahead and laugh. Right now, you guys are more afraid than we are, but you're not fooling us. You think you can laugh at anybody who stands up to you, and pretty soon everyone else is laughing at him, and you think you've won. Well, I don't care if you laugh or not. It won't be funny if the city council does what they're talking about.
I wouldn't advise any of you to go to that meeting if I were you. I'm warning you.
Are you going with us, Jamie?
No, he's not.
I'm talking to Jamie.
What do you want me to do?
They'll listen to you, Jamie, because it was your dad that...
I'll go with you.
You're not going anywhere.
We don't want to punish all teenagers for the trouble a few are causing, but something has to be done. You know how serious the juvenile delinquency problem has become. We have to take some action to prevent this sort of thing from happening again. Now, if you have some suggestions to offer, we're willing to listen to you. What can we do? And what can you do to prevent juvenile delinquency? You tell us.
What would you do if you were Jamie? What can we do about juvenile delinquency? What would you say?
All right, that's it for Junkyard and the Rabbit this week. It's not a 3D episode. I'm just waving my guitar around a lot. I don't want anybody tuning in here at the last minute and be like, dang, I missed the 3D episode. We probably won't have a 3D episode. Why would we? Because I don't really not going to do a lot of 3D stuff, and I'm sure Junkyard doesn't have like 3D film laying around about a whole bunch of things about one topic, but I go on. The point is, I'm glad you came by. I'm glad you watched Junkyard and the Rabbit this week. I'll see you next week. Here we go. We're going to close it with some music. Take it away, Junkyard.
I come around when you get
You ever have somebody point at you and then expect you to do something? It happens to me all the time.